In this video, I'm going to teach you how I read 15 to 20 books every single month. Now, I don't just read these books just to read them. I actually am able to retain the information and use that information to grow my business. Now, why is that important for growing a law firm? Well, in order to continue to have growth with your law firm, you have got to always be learning, and books are one of the best ways to get that information. So maybe you're like me. I'm a really slow reader, and then you also do that thing where you read 4 or 5 pages and then you've been daydreaming the entire time and you have no idea what you just read, so you have to go back and read. That was me for a long time, and it was super frustrating. In December of last year, I read the book Winning by Jack Welch. That book took me the entire month to read, which was really frustrating because it's not that long of a book. The problem is I'm a slow reader and I just have a hard time comprehending what I read. So the following month, I set off on a mission to figure out once and for all, how can I read faster and actually absorb the information so that I can use it to grow my business? Because honestly, reading is great, but if you're not going to use the information, then you're really reading for nothing. So in this video, I'll share with you the steps that I take to read super fast, comprehend what I'm reading, and then apply it to my business. I got to tell you, the gains have been insane. So the first step is understanding that you're going to need to involve more than one sense if you're going to totally immerse yourself in a book and actually comprehend what's going on and do it quickly. Every single time that I buy a book, I buy both the physical book and I buy the audiobook. When I'm reading the book, I also like to use Audible and listen to the audiobook. And I do this for a few reasons. First of all, it actually makes me pay attention to what I'm reading because of the fact that I'm reading it and I'm hearing it. But the second thing is that I can go much faster. I actually listen to my books on Audible at 3x speed. By listening to books at 3x speed, this allows you to read a book 3 times faster. I can get through a pretty decent book in just 2 to 3 hours. Last week I was on a flight from Tampa, Florida to Boise, Idaho, and during that flight I read 2 books, took notes, actually comprehended everything, and have begun to implement what I learned into my business. Now you may be wondering, how do I get up to 3x speed? Because it probably just sounds like a bunch of gibberish to you at this point. It's actually really easy. Think about it this way. Imagine you have a weight that weighs 25 pounds and you pick that weight up and you lift it above your head. Now that may seem heavy, or maybe it doesn't seem heavy. Then you go over and pick up a 45-pound weight and you lift that weight up and you try to lift it over your head. Now you go back to the 25-pound weight. All of a sudden, because of comparison, that 25-pound weight is going to feel a lot lighter. And that's exactly the strategy that we're going to use to get up to 3x speed. Let's say you can only read at 1x speed. This is the strategy that I use to get up to 3x speed, because I used to only be able to read at 1x speed. I would go at least 1 full speed ahead of where I wanted to get to. So for example, let's say that I am at 1x speed and I want to get to 1.5. Then what I would do is I would take my Audible app and I would put it on 2.5, and I would read 4 or 5 pages, listening along and reading at the same time at 2.5x speed. This is going to sound like complete gibberish to you and you're not going to be able to comprehend anything, and that's fine. You're not trying to comprehend. What you need to do is for 4 or 5 pages, try to read along with it, try to understand, try to do all that type of stuff, understanding that you're not going to and you're not going to read at this speed. Because then what's going to happen after 4 or 5 pages, you put it on 1.5. which was faster than you normally read. Now, by comparison, when you listen at 1.5, it's going to feel normal. It's going to feel really slow. You can do this and keep working your way up. You can eventually go to 3 if you want to get to 2. So you listen on 3 for a while and then eventually get to 2 and then 3.5. So what I love about Audible is it allows you to increase the speed in increments of 0.5. So you can go from 1.5 to 1.55, and then 1.55 to 1.6. and then 1.65, and then 1.7, and then 1.75. Now what you're gonna do is, as you're reading, every couple pages, you're gonna increase it by 0.05. The difference between 1.5 and 1.55 is so small that you will not be able to tell the difference. So what you're doing is you're just slowly increasing the speed and slowly increasing the speed. And before you know it, you're gonna go from 1.5 to 2, and then 2 to 2.5. You just keep increasing. And the reason why is the same reason that they have that analogy about the frog in boiling water. You don't recognize these small changes. It feels like nothing's really happening, but you're actually increasing ever so slightly every single time. And that's how you get up to reading at 2x speed, and then 2.5, and then 3, and then 3.5. I can actually read books at 3.5 now, which is really crazy. So now that you're reading, how do you actually make sure that you comprehend the books? I have this belief that most books should really be 50 pages. There's a lot of fluff in a lot of books, right? That doesn't mean I don't love reading. I like to look at this as really high level skimming. And what I do is I listen along and I read along and I follow along. However, once I come across some information that I want to retain, I hit pause on the phone real quick because I have Audible on my phone, and I highlight the text that I want to come back to. And then I dog ear the bottom of the page. And then I hit play and I keep going. And I do that through the entire book. Now, after the book is finished, I have all my pages that are dog-eared on the bottom side of the page, and I can open up to that page and I can see where I highlighted. Now, this is where it gets really useful. I go to Google Docs and I create a new doc, and then I take notes on all the things that I highlighted. The first thing I do is I take notes on what is actually there, and then the second thing I do is take notes about what I'm thinking about related to what I highlighted. The third thing is I write down exactly how this specific section or this quote or this concept can apply directly to my business or to my clients. And in the end, I'm left with a Google Doc with the best points from the entire book, and it also has information about how I can specifically use it for my business and how I can use it to benefit my clients. And if you be able to do this, you will be able to get through so many books so much faster. Now, one other concept that I want to talk about is the concept of just-in-time learning. Now, this is what I practice, and it really, really works. What I do is I think about what are the problems that I'm trying to solve right now for my business, and those are the books that I read. For example, last month I had some issues with my sales team, and it came down to I wasn't the best sales manager. I wasn't the best leader that this team needed. So I thought, okay, I need to learn how to actually be a sales manager. So I went out, I bought like 8 or 9 books on how to do that exact thing. I read them all using this strategy. I took notes, I put down my thoughts in a Google Sheet, and now I actually implement everything that I learned, and I kind of created like the perfect sales manager blueprint for myself, and our sales team is doing awesome. So if you're serious about growing your business and improving and fixing problems, the answer is usually found in books. The hurdle was me. I couldn't read very fast, but if you use this strategy, you will be able to read so much faster, and you'll be able to absorb much more, and it'll give you a huge leg up over all of your competition. This really is a superpower. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite tools that I use every single day, and I'm very excited that I was able to share it with you. So let me know how it works for you, and let me know in the comments below, how fast are you able to listen to a book on Audible right now? Let me know. I want to know kind of where everybody's at, and let me know if you use this and if it works for you. Until next time, guys, I'll see you soon.